Hi everyone, I'm Anthony Christou, the creator of the Luminous Ages comic book, novel, and Dungeons & Dragons series. I will be creating 5e content every week and posting it to YouTube, just talking about the world and my world building process. I've actually been building my fantasy universe since about 2015. We've had some success on Kickstarter and basically have funded most of our projects since 2015, and we developed a whole series of content which is really good for 5e compatible players, or Dungeons and Dragons players, and I will be delving into that today. This is the first video in the series, and I'm hoping this is a continuing series of videos. But some videos I'll have painting processes, like this one right now is the city of Kyria, and but I don't want to just have a normal kind of art tutorial sort of video. Nothing wrong with art tutorial videos, I have done them in the past, but I just find that I want to tell the story of my universe more, and I suppose showcase what the world of Luminous Age is all about. Now, we're going to talk about this first city of Kyria. Now, the reason why I'm going into Kyria first is simply because Kyria is one of the cities where a lot of the comic book, the first graphic novel, takes place, and it is kind of like a bastion of hope and all that sort of stuff. So Kyria is a large trade city, heavily defended, and one of the only cities that never fell in the Great War. It has come under attack, but it has a great reputation of always withstanding attacks. As a prosperous city, a bastion of hope for all, and the closest thing to a capital in the tranquil lands of Dinrea. Now, Dinrea is the western kind of continent of where all this comic book universe kind of happens. Now, it is a haven for the Tranquil Alliance, which is the good people, or I suppose the Holy Alliance, righteous people who are lawful citizens and defenders against the Nightmare or the Martyr. The Knights of the Chosen Order also have their headquarters in Kyria and guard it fiercely. They also patrol the farmlands. There are farmlands which are basically on the outskirts of the borders of the city, and they aid in the Kyrian guards, aid in protecting the food source that comes into the city regularly. The fruit that seems to grow the best is the dragon fruit crops, but many other varieties of crops grow well there as well. You also find that there are these dragon birds as well. They're like kind of like a native species, well, the rainbow variety, born in their habitat around about that area, and they defend off the crops from insects. They love eating insects, and they befriend, I suppose, the townsfolk and the farming people. A lot of people have them as companion animals or pets. So yeah, however, recently there have been minor attacks on farmlands outside the city walls. Also, one of the senior Tranquil members has gone missing. So there is a really big order of Tranquil Council members, which is unusual. His name is Dratora the Wise, and it is incredibly out of character for a Tranquil Council member to leave his post, or their post. There is one tavern at the corner of Kyria towards the city walls which neighbours the farmlands, known as the Dodgy Duck Tavern. It hosts many interesting and questionable characters who may know about the foul magic, or nightmare magic in the air. So this is where all the rumours and gossip kind of takes place. There are other kind of locations in Kyria. So yeah, this painting that you're looking at now was kind of done early in the stages of the comic book development, but I've come back and rehashed it, reworked it to really showcase what the city looks like with the waterfalls. It is a very luscious land, so this is where it's abundant in nature. There's waterfalls, mountains behind. The mountains behind really defend against invaders, kind of like Helm's Deep in Lord of the Rings, and although the farmlands can come under attack from wars, a lot of farmers do rush in, and kind of like if there is an invasion or an attack, they run into the city walls. It's heavily guarded by very protective luminary magic. You can see there's like a rainbow kind of, well, eventually you'll see a rainbow energy or protective shield that surrounds the whole city walls. It does protect some of the farmlands, like the farmlands that are around the edge of the border, in case the war goes on for a year. At least they can still farm for a certain amount of time. There has been rumours that even in the Great War, there was a Great War before all this, that even the the council members, the luminary mages, were able to summon dream magic to strengthen the distance of the shield so that farmers could return while the war was happening. Enemies couldn't penetrate the actual barrier, the protective shield that surrounded the city and the farmlands, and many of the troops were sent out to guard the actual energy barrier as well. Speaking of council, the council is made up of 6 major representatives. There is Ratura the Wise. He's human. He's the one that's gone missing under suspicious circumstances. There's Elrond the Righteous, which is a Nephilim. Now, there are 6 major races in the universe of Luminous Ages. And actually the 6 major races do represent the council members as well, because a lot of the 6 races actually have dream magic. We call it captivary magic and luminary magic. I'm going to go on and explain the powers in future videos, maybe the last video in the series or the 12th video, but we're going to dive into that on another episode, and I'll obviously be painting a character or something like that. So yes, Elrond the Righteous is a Nephilim. Nephilim are kind of like angel races, but they're kind of a version of biblical, Christian biblical angels and angels that you know of in the real world. But Nephilim are, how can I say this? They may have 2 heads, they may have 4 wings, they may have multiple arms. So an angel with multiple wings, multiple arms, all that sort of cool stuff. So you can choose different, you can actually choose that race in D&D, in our 5e supplement, and you'll be able to see the stats and what you can do with that unique race. We also have Larissa the Just, which is a dragonkin. So our dragonborns or dragonkin are a bit different in the sense that, yes, they have similarities to D&D dragonborn, where they have elemental fire breath weapon, but they also have wings. Ours actually have wings like real dragons, and they can also appear as actual real dragons, so that they can be humanoid, but they can also, dragonkin also means that they are actually dragons. They actually have 4 legs, big tails, wings, and dragonkin aren't ascended massive dragons, but they may be, you know, humanoid size or up to the size, probably the size of a large building. Oh, sorry, not a large building, but they could reach the ceiling of a house or an apartment, say. So they're quite large anyway, but their wings allow them to fly, but they can't go quite such a high distance. They basically have the ability of feather fall. And so that's all dragonkin. As they level up, they will get bigger, maybe fly higher. But there are some limitations to the race that we've created, because we obviously don't want to make our races too overpowered. So the next one, we're talking about Larissa the Just. Then there Larissa the Just, sorry. Then there's Korshos the Mighty, which is a fallen. Our fallens are basically like look like demons, but they have wings, and they also have a feather fall ability as well. And they're not. Our fallen aren't all evil or demons. They're not known as demons. So they could be good, they could be bad. They're almost neutral, but most of the times they can actually serve as righteous council members and actually have good and noble, lawful good causes. So we don't have evil demons as such, totally evil demons. Our fallen are very unique. Then we have Leoron the Brave, which is a beastkin. He's kind of like a lion. And we have our beastkin. Our animal creatures actually have dream magic coursing through them. So there's also a Volpine race. There's also the Onirians, which are our very unique surreal race, which I'll go into in one episode as well. Probably talk about our most unique races are the Nephilim and probably Onirian, and third would be Volpine race. But what is so unique about the Onirians, which will go on in future episodes, is that they can, I suppose, teleport between a dream plane and reality quite quickly, maybe once per day, and they look like animals, but they're not. So they've kind of a very surreal. Imagine if Salvador Dali created a race of creatures. But I've got an image here. This is kind of like a statue of an Onirian, but they do change form, and they may have more animalistic kind of faces as well. So they might have like a lion face or two heads, wings, and they're very surreal. They're not meant to be totally humanoid. So then we also have the other council member, which is Aregios the Strong, which is a demi-titan. We have large, basically titans. Well, they're half titans, so they're very large, giant creatures, and they find it hard to get into buildings, but they maybe guard the front of the building. This actual council member, Aregios, is usually guarding the front of the council building and telepathically listens in to all meetings. He has a magical item that allows him to listen in and talk in meetings, even though he may be guarding the front. And so the council's main building is in Kyria. They have created a painting in each council room as well, that allows them to transport between Kyria and the Atalantian headquarters. There is another city called Atalantian, which we'll go into in another episode. And we'll talk about also luminary and captivary powers. So in our universe, what's quite unique about our wizards or mages is that they can draw and bring creatures to life, or draw paintings and make those paintings activate portals to other places. But they can also capture enemies on a page or in a book or on a surface like a stone, a stone tablet, or a piece of bark. And so captivaries can draw and capture enemies on a page, or a luminary can draw and bring things to life. There is a whole system of structure of magic that I've developed for that, which obviously I'm going to go into more episodes, but we're talking about Kyria. So yeah, but at the moment, there is another head office which is for the council, which is in Atalantian, and so these council members with luminary magic and captivary magic were able to create a portal which works once a day for them to activate the painting and jump in the painting and enter into the city of Atalantian for meetings there as well. So yeah, that just gives you an idea of how the council works. There's a map here which kind of goes into this is a basic map of the city, and you can see that we've got the temple and statue of Reshepia. Then we also have, which is the top left corner, Mordred Manor. There's Dratora's mansion, he's the wizard that's gone missing. He's a quite high up council member, but he's just gone vanished. Then there's the Dodgy Duck Tavern, number 4. Fortress of the Chosen Knight Order, which is number 5. That's where a lot of the knights are posted. The Tavern of the Chosen Order, so there's a tavern for them. Number 6, where they go and drink and be merry. Then the 7 is Temple and Statue to Gaius. So there's a little temple there. And then Jorgen's Smithery, which is number 8. Bartok's Emporium, number 9. 10 is Doria's Wares, where you can buy some nice magical items, statue. And then there's the statue of Silver the Grey. Silver the Grey is one of the great characters who saved the planet in the last Great War. She's gone missing. You can find out what happened to her in the comic. But she saved Kyria, pretty much all of Equatoria, with an alliance. She formed an alliance with many other groups to basically defend from the Nightmare or Mare. Then there's the artisanal luminary markets. They're in area 12. There's all sorts of magical items and markets and things you can buy there. Then there's the Council of the Tranquil, which I talked about, number 13, which is a large building, obviously guarded by that Titan I was talking about, the council member. Then there's the Order of the Physici, which is the Order of Nature. That's a large building there for those who respect nature, worship the farmers and the gods that are linked to nature. Then there's of course a statue to Gaius, which is 15, and then 16 the Temple of the Righteous. So there's like quite a lot of there's 3 gods that are worshipped. So the Helios god is the god of the sun. There's also Reshepia's temple of and statue to Reshepia, and then there's the temple and statue to Gaius, and the Temple of the Righteous. So there's quite a lot of different locations, temples, but the 3 major religions practice in Kyria are basically Gaius for fertility, Reshepia for thunder, lightning, storms, wet weather to bring in to feed the crops, and then Helios for the sun. So Ilios or Helios, which is the sun, dragon sun god. Yes, that just gives you an idea of Kyria. I hope you've enjoyed watching this. These are very small videos, but I just wanted to kind of give people an idea of how my world works and give you a teaser into the universe. And I will be, I suppose, talking about the world and how I built this and world building. And I'll probably have stat blocks, maybe one stat block shared per week. To basically, of monsters or whatever I have spare. The book that I've been working on for years is a D&D book, 10 years in the making with all my art, is coming to Kickstarter May the 28th. And you will find that it will have 300 plus pages, including monsters, city guides. It's basically a setting guide with monsters, spells, items, and also bosses and a whole range of other cool things. So anyway, I want to thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next episode. Take care. Bye.